Hey everybody, it's Chris Martin.tv here, and this is Pandemic Business. And today I have Miss Adrienne Davis from Hungry Hearts Feeding Ministry with me today, and she is going to share a little bit about what Hungry Hearts is doing in general, and especially during this pandemic, and how people have been able to be involved in some projects they've got coming up. So I want to welcome Adrienne to the show. How are you today?
I am fine. Thank you for having me, Chris. I really appreciate this, being given the opportunity to come on and speak a little bit about Hungry Hearts.
I'm glad that you're able to join me. And we haven't been able to see each other face to face in seems like forever. I think that's been the kind of way it is with everybody. Things are getting loosened a little bit on restrictions, but I know a lot of people are still maintaining proper social distancing and even still isolating or self isolating. So I'm
Mhm.
glad that I at least get to see you this way and have a little chat with you because I know we haven't had much of a time to catch up lately. But for those that don't know what Hungry Hearts is, can you just kind of run them through the basics of what the ministry does and the nonprofit does?
Okay, so Hungry Hearts is a nonprofit organization, and it was founded in 2015. And what we do or try to do in the community is assist those that are in need, meaning our elders, disabled, and the homeless, anyone that's in need by providing meals, clothing, personal hygiene. So we were donated a facility, which hopefully we're hoping that we'll be in this location by not next year. With this epidemic, it has pushed everything back. Hungry Hearts wants to be more than just a hand out. We want to be a hand up. So we are wanting to utilize that new location that we will be moving in as a facility to offer help with job resumes, teaching them how to be self-sustainable, also allowing them to hold their own farmers market by being able to grow their own vegetables and their own fish through aquaponics and hydroponic systems in there, and also offering other organizations to come in and provide and offer their services at least once a month or once every other month, whether it's through healthcare, mental care, what other services that can be provided. The goal is to make that facility available to those that may not feel comfortable but going someplace else, and even for Hungry Hearts to be able to direct them to other organizations that can assist them in the aid and assistance that they need provided for them, the services that need provided for them. We're hoping that we're able to put showers in there and washers and dryers in that facility for them to be able to do their laundry as well. We're reaching out to retired teachers so that GED classes may be offered in that building. So it's just so much that's on my heart to be able to be an assistance in our community. But what I do know is that we cannot do this on our own. So it's very important for Hungry Hearts to reach out to other organizations and see how that we can assist and help each other and direct each other's organizations for the help that they need. And even if they're able to come to that building, like I said in the beginning, once a month and provide their service, so that those that are comfortable coming there can get the help that that they need. We're also wanting to start like you can come in and you can get groceries once a month. By we're wanting to see if other businesses or other organizations would let those that are in need or need services come in and volunteer so many hours and then sign off on paperwork and say, okay, now you can go in the food closet or you can go in the clothes closet and you can shop. And I think this will help them with math skills, reading skills, and other skills that may be um, weakened.
Well, so the big thing that the takeaway here is that you're not just feeding. I mean, you're not in a food sense. You're feeding in a knowledge sense as well. And
Yes.
I think the name. Some people would think that it is just for food, but it's more than that. And I love that. Now, the one thing that I didn't hear you mention, and I want to make sure that people understand that you are not a shelter in the sense of overnight or being able to stay there. This is purely a receiver from either whether it be nutrition or knowledge or help, but it is not overnight or anything along those lines.
No, it's not overnight or anything at this time. We will hopefully sometime in the future be able to offer those services. Actually, honestly, we're hoping that one day that these services are not ever needed again because they're able to, take care of themselves, and to be able to be self-sustainable on their own.
I think that is something that everybody hopes for. That we're all on an even playing field to the point that we're all self-sustaining and be able to help each other as well. So we don't have parts of the population that are disadvantaged and underprivileged. We don't want to we want to see everybody rise up and come together. So I can't tell you how much I absolutely value what Hungry Hearts is doing, what you are doing, and I know you're not one to take a lot of credit. You don't like it at all, actually, but continue. If you're going to continue to do good things, you're going to continue to get accolades and compliments because it's a
So
huge deal.
here's the thing, Chris. There are so many that some will never see or hear their names because that's what they choose. What Hungry Hearts does, we could not do it on our own. There are so many in the community. The community itself, you tend to hear a lot more negative on social media than you do positive. But when it comes right down to it, the Greater Lawton community, Southwest Oklahoma in general, have very, very big hearts. And when there's a need, they're right there to meet that need. For Hungry Hearts, we're wanting to be able to work with others in the greater southwestern Oklahoma community to be a resource, whether it's a drop-off point or a pickup point. And also, we would like to be a source to apply to make income available, such as jobs, whether it's to maintain the line, cut the line. It may not be very much, but to help some get on their feet, to be able to at least provide the basic necessities such as soap, the personal hygiene items, or whether they can go to Burger King or McDonald's and get a meal throughout the day or treat themselves to something special with the concept of being giving back to the community. We have been donated land. We're hoping to be able to turn that land into a food forest where fruit trees can be grown, grapevines and vegetables, and they can come and set up raised bed gardenings and on that land set up their farmer markets on certain days, because the reality of it is that some of them have been broken and they've been hurt. So it's a trust factor there, and they need to be in a place where they feel comfortable and they feel at ease and be able to help themselves and get themselves back on their feet.
Now, and I think that that's something that needs to be highlighted a lot is that for those that aren't in the situation or in the position of needing help, uh, there's a disconnect from a knowledge perspective. People just don't really truly understand what that situation is, and so empathy is obviously the biggest thing that we need to exercise, but sympathy in the sense of actually fully understanding is something that a lot of people are going to have trouble grasping. So what can be done for those of us that aren't in that position, that have been blessed to be able to either understand that a little better, and also to be able to help the ministry and help Hungry Hearts to either accomplish the mission or just come alongside and volunteer.
So what I would say to this, and not just for Hungry Hearts and in general, but I am speaking for me. And for me, it's not just about Hungry Hearts. Go out to different organizations, do your research, go out there and volunteer and actually see what's going on in those different organizations. And that will allow you to see where exactly it is that help is needed and how that you may be able to help and be more of a benefit to any organization that you decide to participate in or donate to. What I have seen, Chris, it's not just homeless that come for a meal. We have people with jobs that come for a meal, not just for them, but for their kids too. And you would be surprised at how many thank yous. Actually, the end of this month will be Hungry Hearts last day serving at the Bent Fort, so we can go into that building and start getting it ready to be an assistance in the community, just the thank yous. And that so many of them come there and say, I don't have much, but what can I do? Can I come in and sweep? Can I come in and mop? Can I come in and help clean up that building? We have grandparents that are raising their grandchildren on a fixed income, and they need that little extra help, a little extra assistance, whether it's for a meal, whether it's for personal hygiene items, whether it's just for some that come there that just want you to listen. We have been giving out to go sacks during this epidemic and everything. And literally, I had some of them that would sit in that line for 15 minutes. And, you're patient because you don't want them to think that you're not concerned and that you don't care, because we really do. And then the line is backing up, but they just need a sounding board. They need somebody to listen. They need somebody to understand. They're not in that line. They're not in this position because this is what they choose to be in, but life has happened. And I've learned that some of them don't have life skills. I've seen many of them come to Hungry Hearts when we were at First Christian Church that really didn't know how to sweep a floor or mop a floor because they were only limited or given so much space, and that's all they have known during a lifetime, whether it's become raised in shelters or being homeless or just being passed off in the system from foster care to wherever the circumstances may have been created for them or they may have entered into. So what I would suggest is reach out to different organizations and ask, how can you come in and volunteer, or can you just come in and watch what goes on in there while they're working. And then as far as Hungry Hearts is concerned, we're looking for help for painting the building. And I have been told that people have said, I'll do this and I'll do that. And I haven't responded. And please charge it to my head and not to my heart, because I tend to get all over the place and, try to help in so many different areas. But just message us on our Facebook page, and we're trying to keep the social distancing and limited the place no more than 10 people. So we're really trying to do 6 at a time. The building is huge, and yet it still needs a lot of work.
Well, and that's something that for sure I could see with construction. You're seeing construction crews all over, and you know that social distancing is not being observed there. But in a volunteer capacity, I know you are absolutely being adamant about that, making sure that everybody stays healthy and that we're not worried about spreading the virus anymore than we absolutely have to, so to speak. So, in that sense, are you doing regular days of going in and cleaning up and painting, or are there only certain days, or is it when you have a large enough group to organize it that you're going into the building?
There are only certain days because we're understanding now businesses are opening back up, so people are starting to go back to work. So we're generally looking at Fridays and Saturdays, and possibly every other Saturday or once a month. I mean, once a month on a Sunday if possible, because we do know and people still worship and they go to church and everything. So we're not trying to interfere or take anything away from that. And also we're not trying to take away from family time. So just in general, if I get a message and I get at least 4 or 5 people that just so happen to fall on a weekday, I will message each one of those individuals and say, hey, meet me at this building at this time and let's go in there. And, whether it's cleaning up, wiping down walls, doing drywall repairs or painting, whatever needs to be done, or just demolition on things that need to be taken down and carried out that building.
So when
So
this, I'm sorry, go ahead.
right now, we're needing people to come in and clean and wipe down, and then to paint as well. The floors we are needing to be paint. We got all the towel on the floors have been taken up. We've had some amazing people come in and do things like that, take the towel down. But the caulking and the sealing of the drywall and getting ready to paint is what is absolutely needed right now. And the outside structure of the building is needing some repairs as far as caulking and painting that also.
So in general, this is not something that is knowledge intensive when it comes to the labor. I mean, this is pretty simple stuff. You just have to be told what specifically needs to be done. So you're not
Yes.
looking for people that are highly trained or specialized. You just want somebody that's got a willing heart that can take a little bit of instruction and kind of go from there.
And go from there. Actually, we are looking for licensed electricians
Okay.
that are willing to donate and volunteer their time. This can be quite costly, and I think if anybody in general tend to look at our Facebook page or our website, we don't generally ask for monetary donations. We do fundraisers, and don't get me wrong, that the monetary donations are greatly appreciated, and you can receive receipts for them for tax purposes, or that you need them for. But we are looking for licensed electricians that will reach out and say, hey, let us see what we can do, and volunteer their time, and that will help cut down on costs tremendously.
Absolutely. So if anybody's watching knows a licensed electrician that you think would be willing to jump in and help out with this, tag them, share this with them, and let them know that Hungry Hearts could definitely use the help, because we want to make sure that we get this building open as soon as possible so we can start helping those that really need the help right now. Especially as we're getting
Yes,
ready to go into the summer months, things are about to get hot, and
very hot.
it's going to be problematic for a lot of situations where people can't seek shelter. So it's very good. So right now, outside of the renovation, what do you see as Hungry Heart's biggest need? So outside of the building, uh, what is the biggest thing that you have to tackle right now?
Right now, the biggest thing we have to tackle right now is being able to finance the equipment and the work that is needed on that building, and finding grant writers to help us write grants to be able to get that building and the things that are needed to help us continue to meet the needs of the community, to help us become a hand up in the community, and assist those in our general community in the areas and that are needed in the health aspect of the greater southwestern Oklahoma.
So while you were saying that, we had. Sorry, I'm jumping between all the stuff here. I lost you. You still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
it's okay. Um, Twera Jacobs asks, and I'm going to throw this up on the screen here. How can she donate? What
I'm
can
sorry.
Twera wants to know how can people donate to Hungry Hearts? How can they get money to you, whether that electronically through monetary donation?
Okay, so you can go on our website page, Hungry Hearts Lawton, or our Facebook page, Hungry Hearts Facebook page. Also, you can write checks to our PO Hungry Hearts PO Box 2751, Lawton, Oklahoma 73502, and we'll send you a receipt for your donations.
So it's pretty simple overall then. So you don't have to worry
It's
about
pretty simple
people
overall.
coming.
Yes,
Excellent.
you can do that. And please message me as well, Adrienne Davis, and I can get you the information that you need for your donations.
Yeah, and we'll make sure that we tag both your personal profile and Hungry Hearts page in the
Yes,
notes, so they can directly link to you, because the more people that we can get connected with ministries like this, with nonprofits like this that are specifically targeting the underprivileged and those that are just happen to have a bad hand of cards dealt against them at the moment,
yes,
the more the better, because I think if we bring everybody up, then we all rise up at the same time. So
and
it's
at the
very
same
important.
time. And like I said, it's not just those that are homeless that are in need. We have so many of our elderly and, like I said, grandparents that are raising their grandkids to the best of their knowledge and to the best of their know-how. And you will be surprised at how many have a lack of life skills. And this has been passed down from generation to generation. So you only know what to do by what you've been taught, you know, and that's all you know how to do. And this is why it's important that we try to get the building and up and ready to go, so that there we're able to offer many more services and have other organizations come in as well, and for Hungry Hearts to be able to direct others to other organizations that can better assist them. So where we're centrally located at right now, we have a mental health place right across, directly across from Hungry Hearts facility, and they have reached out to us as well. Um, we also have a drug rehabilitation that program that is not far from Hungry Hearts that has reached out to us as well. It's just ready to get the building up and running so that we are able to be in assistance of the greater southwestern Oklahoma community.
And So let's talk about that specifically. How for those that need assistance, that need help, how is it? How are they connecting with the ministry? How are they uh, interfacing to the point of or applying for help? What is the process for getting help through Hungry Hearts?
So right now, we don't have a facility or a location. So when they message Hungry Hearts or get on the Facebook page and send a message, we directly reach out to them to help meet their needs and their assistance. Here's the thing, Chris. What we're finding is that so often you will see people reach out for groceries or say that they've been to different places to get food. So here's the problem. If we know that we're giving you enough groceries for a month and then 2 weeks later you need more groceries, that lets me know that you don't know how to prepare meals. Something is going on with that situation. So what we're wanting to do is with individuals that are having problems like that, sit them down and be able to show them how to prepare meals and portion meals out correctly, along with having people come in and doing menus and recipes with what's being provided in those groceries, because they should be able to get through that whole month with the groceries that have been provided with them. And that tends to happen if you've never had to or been taught how to prepare meals or how to make meals stretch or how to make meals from leftovers. You tend to do go through your groceries quickly and really, really fast.
But that is something that even I deal with. I've got all this, and I'll just not think about leftovers or what's left, and I think
Mhm.
that's part of the privilege that I've been able to receive is that I don't have to think about that. But there is true. There's a lot of people that general food prep. It's amazing with lack of home skills that are going through school right now, and just life in general, from not finishing school to not having the education for it, that a lot of people just don't
Yes,
understand basic food prep, from anything from something as simple as pasta to something more complicated. And then of course
yeah,
the facilities, having access to that, a decent stove, decent refrigeration to be able
yes.
to keep all of that. Obviously that's a big deal too. So in addition to the feeding, are there any moments in time where you're able to facilitate somebody's need of, let's say, a refrigerator or something along those lines, where you hear the call that somebody needs that? Is there anything? And I know you're not a warehouse in the sense of like you're receiving those donations for future, but are there any of those moments where you hear somebody needs it and you put the call out? And sometimes you're able to help with that.
Yes, we've received many of those calls, and so what we do is we'll make a post, and you have Talk Lawton and other social medias will put out those share that information. So, and One Lawton is really good about sharing information such as that too. So once those needs are met, then a post is made that that need has been met.
Well,
So
that's
the one thing that we don't do, Hungry Hearts don't do, is that we don't offer monetary assistance. As far as somebody said, "Oh, I need my rent to be paid. I need this to be paid." We will direct them to other programs that may assist in that area. We do help with, like I said, food, personal hygiene items, and purchasing groceries. We tend to try to stay out of that area right there, but as if we need to go and purchase some items, then we will purchase those items, because then we have receipts to show that we purchased those items for those individuals with the paperwork that they sign.
that's something I know is very tricky to stay on top of, because
Yeah.
paper trails, backtracking everything, very very
Mhm.
important as a nonprofit.
Yes.
And so in addition to direct assistance with food and hygiene items, are there any classes or anything that you're offering to this demographic, that from life skills to cooking to whatever it may be, to help with that in either a group setting or a one-on-one?
At this time is not, because we don't have our own facility, so it's hard to be able to offer those classes right now. And that's why I'm saying this is what Hungry Hearts Forever Home will be utilized for, because we're wanting to offer those classes. We're wanting to offer those assistance. We just don't want to be a hand out. We want to be a hand up in the community.
So, what is, with this facility? There are massive amounts of options that you have coming towards you when the finalization is, when it's all done.
Yes.
Uh, what is the one thing that you're looking forward to the most with the new facility that you're not able to accomplish just yet? That once it's all done, will be able to be done.
Being more of an assistance in the community and meeting the needs of those that come in and being able to provide services such as life skill classes, um, having dietitians come in and help those that are diabetic with classes and meal preps and things like that. Actually have been able to have a kitchen so that we can offer classes on days that we're not feeding, to show them how to prepare and prep meals. I mean, those that have the means and ways of being able to do that.
Well,
So
I'm. Go ahead. Sorry.
it's easy to for me, myself, I'm a person that I have to see, hear, and be a hands-on to learn. So with that facility and with having a kitchen that would be open and for them to be able to come in there and be having people that are licensed that specialize in those areas to be able to come in and teach them, whether it's once a month or once every 3 weeks, would be absolutely amazing. And I think that would help them be able to help take care of themselves a lot better.
Well, I know you're looking forward to it. I know I'm looking forward to it. I know pretty much the whole community is, and being able to drive by that building to see the logo on the side of it now is nice because there's that little bit of is a progress. Having that, especially right now, we're all needing a big win right now, and to be able to see that logo on the building as you drive by, I think is very very nice, and it's helping to get the word out because that's what's coming, and I think that's going to be a center for a lot of help, a lot of growth, and a lot of development for a lot of people. And I know that we're all very, very, very much looking forward to it. So, is there anything else you would like to add? Because I know I've asked you a ton of questions. I may have missed something.
Yes, I this is what I would like to add for me, and I'm speaking for me in general and Hungry Hearts. I would love for us as different organizations to come together and work together and assist each other in the best way that we can, and making it known that these different organizations offer these variety of services. That this is not a competition. I have my husband was he did his basic training here. We retired here, and I have absolutely fallen in love with Lawton, Oklahoma, with just general southwestern Oklahoma in general. And I see the kindness and I see the big hearts and I get to see the compassion, but I also get to see the needs. In our community, and I say our community. I wasn't born and raised here, but I've been here for over 15 years. So I feel like this is home for me. And just, for us to be able to sit down as organizations and have meetings with each other and say, hey, you know, we do this on this date and time. What do you think about doing this on this date and time? So that, whether it's breakfast, lunch, and dinner that's been provided, that we're not all doing it at the same time and on the same day. So
That
I'm speaking for me, and that's where my heart is, and that's where I would like to see. That's what I would like to see happen in our community, that we be able to sit down and talk with each other, whether we agree to disagree.
that I 100% agree with. When I moved a lot and it was working for a nonprofit, and that was one of my biggest frustrations is I would constantly see this competition. And somebody didn't like something, they would make their own nonprofit, do their own thing. And we've got so much to do, and there's such a large group of people that we need to be able to help. That if we're competing against each other as nonprofits, then how effective could we truly be? How are we actually able to help? And I want to see that. I want to see those partnerships grow and across the board and finding those specializations, whether it be a coat closet or a food pantry or somebody teaching life skills or counseling or whatever, and having that network all working together ultimately for the common good of Lawton and for those that really, really need it instead of the name out. And that's one thing that I absolutely adore about what Hungry Hearts is doing is that you state and not only state but prove time and time again it is not about you, it's not about the name of that organization, it's literally about your mission and making sure those people are taken care of. So I'm right there with you. It is not a competition, and I wish more nonprofits would partner up and let ego go away and all come together to be able to partner. I would love to see a huge network here that just takes care of business and make sure that those that need the help get the help, and the referrals. That's a big thing. I think a lot of places could get referrals. Like you said, you're not offering. Let's just do a hypothetical. You wouldn't be offering feedings on Tuesday, but let's say Salvation Army was, or something like that, to
Yes,
be able to say, here's the schedule, this is where you need to go. From a health perspective, Caring Hearts, they're about to open their new
yes,
facility, and that's a huge one.
absolutely.
To be
It
able
is.
to push that, and I know that United Way does a great job with that when it comes to
Yes,
pulling organizations together. But just because somebody's not a funded partner with United Way doesn't mean they can't be part of the mix and they can't do
exactly.
referrals back and forth.
And like I said, once again, I'm speaking for me. I know where my heart is at. We may get an overabundance of something, and I'm not one. I don't believe in hoarding and holding on to things just because it's been donated. So often I may tell somebody, okay, like now we've had people come and say we're going to be closed from this time to this time, but this is what's going to happen with your donations. If you donate a big bag of beans, it's going to be separated out into storage bags. So if somebody say they need help with food, that bag of beans will go a long ways. If we get so much of it, then we will reach out to other organizations, say, hey, can you use this? Would this help you, or would this assist you? I just think that sometimes we we might not think about other organizations. We might think, oh, they have everything they did need because they may be connected to United Way or somebody else. But that's not always true. And if you look at everything that's going on now with this epidemic that's going on, the food bank, and they're running out of food, and they have so many people that come to them that need help and assistance. You have Sea Carter Crane, that's a homeless shelter, and please, guys, forgive me for mentioning your name. Don't be upset with me. I just, know that there are so many of you that do so much in this community. In M28, they feed, they provide meals. This sometimes you don't get the grants, and some people don't qualify for certain grants or whatever. So that's why for me it's important to share what we have with each other when we have it.
That is absolutely critical, and you're right in the sense that right now with this pandemic, giving is down. I mean, across the board, people are concerned about their next paycheck or the ability to keep their lights on. So
Yes.
nonprofits are not receiving financially as much as they were, and of course, this is because businesses aren't receiving as well. So yeah, don't make the assumption. For those that are watching, do not make the assumption. If anything, assume that the need is there because it is. As of right now, with contributions going down, at least on a financial basis, uh, that's something we really got to keep in mind. And also supply. Food supply is becoming questionable in certain areas of certain types of foods. So making sure that these organizations that, especially ones that are feeding, making sure that they have the resources to be able to take care of those that they're focusing on is absolutely critical. So
Absolutely. And make sure that you go out and look on the website and check out different organizations. Go and visit and go and volunteer. It doesn't matter where you go or who you help or assist. Just go and try to do whatever part that you can to help meet the needs of our community. Sometimes I hear some of those that come from meals, they'll say, here, Miss Adrienne, here's $1. I know it's not much, but it's a whole lot, because guess what? That's $1 that they really don't have to give, but their hearts is in the right place. To go trays are almost close to $12. We have been feeding well close to 300, providing 300 meals 3 days out of a week. We were doing 5 days out of a week. So the cost of the trays alone was costly. So when I say that what you give, whether you think it's a penny to $1 to 10 to 100, it's a lot, and it is greatly, greatly appreciated, and it helps so much to so many of these organizations that are right here in Oklahoma.
that's a huge number. That's crazy to think about, Joe. Just in that general cost at 900 times 12, that adds up very quickly. So even if the food is not donated, the financial to cover that is absolutely critical. But I think if there's anything else that I haven't mentioned, I want to make sure that you have time to talk about it. But as of right now, it doesn't look like we have any other questions. And want to remind everybody it's hungryheartslawton.com or .org for the website.
.com.
.com. So that's where you can go to get more information and do a direct contribution. It can also message you directly on your Facebook page, both
Yes.
your personal one and Hungry Hearts Feeding Ministry on Facebook.
Yes.
Uh, and then you're looking for basically donations of service and time, volunteering
Yes.
time
That's
to come
right.
out,
Yes.
especially if you're a licensed electrician. If
And
you can jump
plumbers,
out.
and plumbers, please, and
Yes.
plumbers. You know, I
Plumbers.
do want to say, Chris, I want to say thank you to everybody in the greater southwestern Oklahoma area and Lawton for the hearts that you have, for your time and for your giving. It all as your service is greatly appreciated. There are so many of us that need volunteers to come out and help, prepare meals, whether it's from cleaning up to shut down, to organizing pantries, to clothing or whatever. Don't ever think that just because you may not be able to give financially, that your service is not needed and that you're not appreciated, because you are. Your time and efforts are greatly appreciated and they are priceless. So I just want to say thank you.
Absolutely. And I know firsthand that people don't understand that time and effort that they put into it. It may not seem like much, but when that impacts a life and a family and it cascades down, it's amazing what you don't understand about that impact. That little bit of help, whether it's a $5 donation to jumping in and helping with renovation. I mean, it's crazy how that gift is not a one to one; it's a one to many. It's exponential. It increases. It's kind of like a snowball, an avalanche, if you will. And I think the more that people jump on that, the more that'll be understood. And the thing is, when it comes to giving, you always get far more back than you do or that you lose by giving. And lose is probably the wrong term, but the that give back to yourself in the process of that is tremendous. So I think that we can all do our parts, and I think we can all do better. Even those that are part of it, we can always do more. There's something we can do, especially with this free time that we've got right now. Even though that looks to be dwindling down with things opening back up, I think that we've got a lot of opportunity here to help out for those especially that need the help. So, Miss Adrienne, thank you so much for being with me today, and it's
Thank
lovely to see you like it is every
you.
time. And
I can't wait to
I can't wait to see you
I
face
miss
to
my
face.
hug. Okay, sweetheart.
I'm looking forward
Thank
to
you,
it very much.
everybody.
Thank you. And if anybody wants to be on the show, we're gonna throw up the link here on the screen. We're doing these as we can with schedule and whatnot. But again, thank you to Adrienne for being here today. And want to make sure that anybody that wants to be on the show, go to chrismartin.tv/live-interviews. And as we get the forms, we'll go through and it'll be for consideration to see if we've got a slot for you to slide into, and we can get you on the show. But again, thank you to everybody for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all next time.